So if you look at cosine from 0 to pi over 2, it would look like this. And if you find the actual area under that curve between that and the x-axis, the actual area is 1 square unit. So now we're going to use rectangles, or in other words Riemann sums, to estimate the area. So what I do is I take the interval, sort of blow up the picture a little bit, and say we're going from 0 to pi over 2, and I need to divide this into many pieces, all with the same length, and then find the height by substituting in the midpoint into the cosine function. So basically this point right here would be right here. Plug it into the function and say, okay, make a rectangle, and then find the area of that rectangle. And when we do that several times, add them up, we've got an estimate for the area, which is supposed to be 1. So we need to find the number of rectangles that will give you an estimate that's within 0.001. So I'm going to start with, I'll say, lucky number 7 rectangles. So divide this into 7 equal pieces. So in other words, delta x is going to be, so take pi over 2 minus 0, and then divide that into 7 pieces. So this will become pi over 14. So this is going to go from 0 to pi over 14. And then I need the last one. So I need to be able to tell the calculator, start over here, add up all of the areas, and stop right here. So I need to know, let's see, just to the left of pi over 2. So if you take pi over 2 and go to the left by pi over 14, so this is what, 7/14 minus 1 is going to be 6/14 of pi. And I'm not going to reduce that because I want to be able to build up a pattern. So I'm just going to use 6 pi over 14. Okay, now I need to know the midpoint. So the midpoint of this interval, well, halfway between a 0 and a pi over 14 would be a pi over 28. And then let's see, this would be, if we go to 28ths, this is going to be 12/28ths, and this would be 14/28ths, so in the middle would be 13 pi over 28. Okay, so then we are going to have the calculator sum the sequence. The height is going to be determined by cosine of x, and then we need the width of each interval, so it goes from 0 to pi over 14, so that's the length, and then tell the calculator that x is the variable, and now x goes from a starting point of pi over 28 to 13 pi over 28 in increments of pi over 14. So second list, move over to math, and it's the 5th one. There's some second list, move over to operations, and it's the 5th one. Then cosine of x, and before I forget, I need to double check that it's in radians. Good. Cosine of x times pi divided by 14 with respect to x going from pi divided by 28 to 13 pi divided by 28 in increments of pi divided by 14. And I'm hoping that it's going to say 1.001 or 0.999, so that I'm within 0.001 of the actual answer. Whoa, close. Okay, so we're close, but not quite. So that was with 7 rectangles. So what if we changed it to 8? So if we changed it to 8, this would be division by 8. So this would be, let's see, divide that by an 8, it's a 16 instead of a 14. So the thing that would change is that this would be pi over 16. And then if you notice the difference between these two, all you have to do is double this to get that. So we have pi over 32. And then this would still be over 32. So back over here we would say, well, this, instead of being a 14 over 14, we would be using 16 over 16, so this would be 36 over 28. And so the pattern is, let's see, the 28's cut in half would be a 14, and it's one less than that. So in this case, if that was a 16, we would have a 32. Cut it in half is 16, and one less is 15. Oh, wait a second. There's an easier pattern. It's just the odd numbers over here. Okay, great. And then this would be, again, pi over 16. And then that's for, well, this one was for n equals 7 rectangles. This is for n equals 8 rectangles. And hopefully that's going to be it. So do second enter to just get it back, and then change the 14 to a 16, this to a 32, this to the next odd number, which is 15 over 32, and this is a 16, and it's going to say 1.001. Oh! So, okay, one more time. N equals 9. By now the pattern is going to be, let's see, these are even numbers, so next would be 18, because that's double of a 9. This would be, well, let's see, this actually goes up by 4, so this would go up by 4 because it's 4 times the 7, 4 times the 8, and now 4 times the 9. And this is odd numbers on top, and then the 36, and this is pi over the 18. Second enter, and this is an 18, this is a 36, an odd number over 36, and this is an 18, 1.001, come on, yes. Okay, so for a sense of completion, this was a 0.982, and this one was 1.001. So there's the answer. 9 rectangles needed.